Man, am I incompetent today.
You're doing great.
Ugh, I am having a rough time. So actually, let me bring the show down to a little bit of a bummer, but not totally. And that is, I think this is going to be my last Friday afternoon on Twitch. And the reason for that is the idea of doing two DDO streams at noon every week predates me doing Lotro stuff and predates Standing Stone games. And the reality is, I just do not have time to support 3 streams anymore. People this week, if you watch the Wednesday streams, are like, when's the producer's letter coming? And I keep saying, well, we're going to work on a first draft and do all that sort of thing. And the reality is, I have not had 5 minutes to even start writing anything this week, just kind of due to some of the other work that I've got going on, not just in DDO, but also in Lotro, but in DDO too. You can't just say like, hey, it's because of Lotro that this is happening. I need to free up some time in my schedule. That's one of the things that last year taught me with the 2 expansions that we did, is that I can only push myself so far. I don't know if you saw, Linabelle, when you first came back from your break here, just kind of how exhausted I was and everything, but I was exhausted. I needed some time off, and so I need to open up some time in my schedule. And so what that means is I'm going to drop the Friday noon show on DDO, still going to do the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream, and then I'm shifting the Lotro show to Friday. And the reason I'm doing that is because the Lotro show is on Thursdays right now, which is frankly my busiest day of the week, and so I just can't do it anymore. Hopefully, ideally, at some point in the future, we are going to have someone else from Standing Stone Games that'll also be doing some live streaming, and that would allow that person to perhaps do a Friday show or a Thursday show or something like that. So we'll actually have more official representation on DDO Stream. But DDO Stream is really about the community as much as it's about Standing Stone Games. So it's really about giving everyone a platform to do stuff. So doing kind of an official show and then a semi-official show every week, like I said, I just can't support it anymore. So this is going to be my last Friday afternoon. For a little while anyway. We'll see what happens. If time ever permits, I would love to do it more of this sort of thing, but it may not permit. And so we'll just kind of have to see what all happens there. Oh, my inventory's full. I forgot to do my inventory. Well, I want that Mantle of Fury.
I don't know. I think I made that item, and I'm not sure it's very good. It's
Well, it's definitely better than the level 9 accuracy 5
ooh.
cloak I've got on.
Oh, come on. I'm level 7, and I'm wearing Fjarlin Mirror Cloak with some permanent durability loss, so, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
What I like eating, I never actually eat at noon anyway.
Yeah, I had like half a pizza. That's about it.
Yep. But part of it, the reason I was able to do these noon shows is I never really ate lunch until 1 o'clock anyway. So I know, inventory management fail. I'm actually going right now into the tavern before I pick up my weapon so that I can take care of this.
Now I know what he felt. He was afraid.
Remind me of sometime we have Nobob, and I want to have a Joy of Deving with Nobob.
I think what would be excellent is just secretly filming Flimsy. I think that would really just put some fear into our players, because he cackles while he works. It's eerie.
It would actually be, he could do a show on how to kill your party in great and exciting ways, and I would watch that pretty much forever. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's also held on to a file I've been trying to work on for like 2 weeks, so I think he's finishing. I believe his words were one assert short of a full build. So hopefully that's all set.
Nice. Hey, so to be serious about that producer's letter thing for just a second, I know I promised we were going to have it done by the end of last year, and it is now 2018, and we haven't even started a first draft. And that's, like I said, that combined with a few other things going on at work and that are just like, this is the week where it came to a head, and I'm just like, I have to do something here. So that's sort of why we're doing, making this the last Friday afternoon. But it may come back in the future. Like I said, who knows? I love playing DDO, and being able to play DDO and call it work is even better. So we'll, it's highly possible that the show will return someday, but that day will not be next week.
They won't let me have a show for some reason. I don't understand why.
Frankly, I'd give you a show, although you'd have to stop swearing.
That's exactly. Every time we leave them alone with the forums, a disaster happens. Oh my gosh! So this is a great story. So yesterday, for research purposes, I needed the exact text of what happens when you get an infraction on the forums.
That's right.
So we're like, okay, how do we get that text? I'm like, oh, it's in the website. I'm like, just give me an infraction, and I can just copy and paste it from my PMs. So he infracts a post that I make, and then Steelstar, who was working from home at the time, sees it in the queue of infractions and is like, freaks out and is like, what did they do? Oh my god, it's a disaster, and was just freaking out.
To be fair, if there's anyone in the building who would be most likely to get an infraction,
I can't believe I cannot believe that I haven't been infracted yet. It's astounding, actually.
Unfortunately, we really don't have much for a warlock artificer in the Barovian weapons.
Oh, are they still showing as broken in the reward
list? A couple
list?
of them are, strangely enough, but not all of them.
No, I'll tag that.
We need a Barovian rune arm, although I suppose that probably for various reasons can't happen. But
yeah, that was. I mean, the rune arms ended up pretty good. But I don't know if we can make like a genericified version of one. That's interesting.
It should shoot bats.
There's this plan I had for a spooky rune arm that shoots ghosts, and it would be so easy to just take the ghost model and slap it onto like a force shot and just paint it to like, I could do it, but I can't do it well. Like I could hack something together, but it would not look good. We're in Death House, by the way.
Yes.
It's very exciting. I played Ravenloft in pen and paper, and I remember distinctly when we were doing this quest, or rather, this is the introduction to get a level 1 character to level 3 in the Curse of Strahd. Like your DM would take you through this first as like an option if you weren't like high enough. So when we did this, our party members got so freaked out by the stuffed wolves and all the armor sets that we, with our limitless amounts of rope that all pen and paper adventures had, tied everything together. Basically we tied the room together. Like all of the chandeliers to the wolves, which we turned upside down, to the armor. So if anything came alive and attacked us, we would know because everything would be tied together. And so we basically just made a gigantic evil spider web out of just a variety of objects, and we like threw silverware on top of it so we'd be able to hear it if something came to life because we're like terrified.
So you need to use the flimsy school of killing your party and basically have something attack you that you need to run and escape, but you can't because you've basically created a web of rope that you have to navigate yourself. In the books, this house is alive. Just a bit of a spoiler. Once you kill the monster in the basement, as it were, you actually have to escape, and in pen and paper you can't just press the finish button. You actually have to like leave the house, so we're like, okie dokie, we're done. The doors turn into big slicey blades, and the house fills with poisonous smoke, and then lights itself on fire. And if you attempt to break through the walls, rats come out. The walls are full of rats. So we tried the classes. This is like, as pen and paper players, we're like, we're not going to use any doors then. We're too smart for this. We decided we're just going to burrow through the side of the house, as you do. So we can't do that because there's rats everywhere, and we're trying to escape this horrible web of silverware and rope that we've tied together, and we've made this horrible mess as we're just trying to leave, and then the doors come alive.
And we finally stumble out into the street, you know, just like terrified, and like, you know, we're like, okay, all right. Look back, house is gone, and we're like, right. I think half of us left half of our objects in there, trying to do other stuff. Well, I guess they're just gone forever.
Nice. So King Cosma has a question that I think might be worth addressing. I don't personally know the answer, though I could speculate, but maybe you know. Which is, why in the Saga reward list is there, say, 15,000 guild renown and an impressive trophy? My guess is that it's just simply tied to the reward system, that it'll give you a chance of like an impressive trophy, and then the other one is hard-coded in as a Saga reward. Is that correct?
So, okay, NPC rewards aren't the same as chest rewards. They're both treasure tables, but they're hooked up differently. They both have the same thing at the bottom of the rabbit hole, but the intermediary part's different, and it's just a generic thing that we've tagged on to NPC rewards. NPC rewards, which Saga rewards are, by default, they tried their best to give you gold renown.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just, you know, hey, you are an end reward, so there's a chance of getting guild renown. But then also we have, as in that reward table, based on difficulty and such like that, here's how much, you know, you get of a special snowflake guild renown token. So the amount of work it would take to not... It's like, okay, maybe we could do a bunch of engineering work to not have that particular thing give you a guild renown token, or you could just not choose it, you know?
It's I prefer to think of it as like some additional skill testing thing, where like, are the players smart enough to know which number's bigger of just the numbers, you know? And it's a very easy skill test, but it's like an additional level of challenge. Is 1500 higher than 150? I think so. I couldn't tell you myself, but I'm fairly certain.
Yeah, it's for people who really hate their characters, and they hate their their guild.
If they hate their guild, they hate their guild, and they don't want experience, and they absolutely don't want items or commendations, then they can take the smaller guild renown.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. If they really just don't want that to happen.
I like it. Master Robert says, maybe deep down you believe you don't deserve that 15,000 guild renown.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Mackie Bray says his wife Ailenwy got a Saga reward hand axe that was bound to character. Is that working as intended? I'm assuming you mean a random gem?
Oh. Okay, there's two options for this. This was Saga rewards, so this is Waylunar Stormhorns. That's some fancy smancy non-loot gen. They are named items. That's right, they are named items that are pretending very hard to be loot gen. And they have been a continuous thorn in our side, and I'm not sure why people are going down into the back thing. Is there anything back here? Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know.
Color me surprised. I have never once gotten this chest. That is good to know.
I don't actually even know where I'm going, to be honest.
It's...
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, it's somewhere. Definitely there's some traps. So if you see the dead people, don't stand where their soul stones are.
Stand where their soul stones are.
Don't do that. No.
Okay.
The opposite. Wrong. But no, it's like, oh, I could go on for a really long time about itemization in that particular expansion pack. Basically, the problems is we have named items that are pretending to be loot gen, and we have loot gen that are trying really hard to pretend to be named items. And so they ended up, how our sentient system interacts with them is like, the same with Kenneth crafting, is like, someone in the forums got it right, that like, if it's Kenneth craftable, like if you can disjunct it and add new things to it, then it's not a named item. But, and therefore, you know, it's not sentientable, but
yeah,
it's the other way around for those items.
You know, that was at a time where we were doing the normal, hard, and elite versions of items too,
yeah.
which adds an extra layer of complexity to it that we really don't do much anymore for that reason.
Yeah, there are some. So the design I like a lot. It was a good incentive to get people to play elite for actually better itemization, and it really made things easier on the design side. But they had some conceptual problems that we're trying our best to work around now, in which it's very difficult to test items like that, since all of their effects are applied at the treasure generation stage rather than their actual creation stage. So normally when we have a named item, it's got a specific set of things attached to it. and we can change what those things do, and we'd have to just make a new copy of the item. So if you're testing, you know, like a sword that does 1d8 and a designer's like, now it does 2d8, you just have a new sword and then that fixes the problem.
Right.
But if we're doing it in treasure generation, like these items do, since internally they're the same item with different things spray painted on them, it's the tester or the designer, when they're unit testing themselves, would have to actually generate the list from the treasure table, which is just a few additional steps. And then there's complications with CS, and there's also
And the reality is, it's not one item that scales by difficulty. It's three separate items.
It's like a million different items at this point.
So in terms of the loot generation work, you're not making 10 items. You're making 30 items.
Yeah, well, that's another part of it. Is like, so I'm doing anniversary work right now. Spoiler alert: we're still actually going to be running on the 12th anniversary. Just in case you were keeping score, we're going to make it to year 12. I'm really excited about this because I have an NPC in the anniversary now, and Knockback specifically promised. But I'm doing anniversary stuff, and it's like, we need, you know, one item at 8 different difficulties, which internally is not one item, it's 8 different items with the same name. So it's... Yeah. That's great, though. I really... Systems work is where I feel like I can really, I know what I'm doing, because I've been trying to fix content bugs, and they're like, yeah, this door doesn't open, and I'm like, let's inspect the door, and the door is like written in some incomprehensible ancient eldritch tongue, and I'm like, these words make sense, but not in that order. I mean, even litany with Roheen, I was like, okay, so he's obviously checking for items somehow. So I like open up his script and I'm like, I don't know what any of these words do. this is terrifying.
Nice.
But it's got It's
that reminds me, you should fix the haunted halls bug. No one else can do it.
Oh my god. So there's like, every time I poke around in there, it's like, there's like a failsafe script that's supposed to go off, and then there's another failsafe script that's like, in case of horrible disaster, this is separate from the regular disaster that we know is happening, in case of catastrophic disaster, and even that one's not working. And I think at this point, the entire encounter would need to be redesigned, and I'm not sure how much work that is, but we're aware that it is a persistent problem, and it's unfortunate that, because it's a unique encounter, and Haunted Halls is a very fun quest.
I agree, though. It's probably just a matter of completely redoing that whole encounter script and everything.
Yeah, well, it's actually, in the pen and paper campaigns I've been in, as a bit of a fun aside fan theory, there's only ever one doppelganger. Every single doppelganger we meet is the same doppelganger. And I kind of want that to be true in DDO. Like, we meet another doppelganger and it's like, oh, it's you guys again. Hey, nice to see you. And you're like, but you're a different person. And he's like, yeah, there's only been one. It's just me, you know. And then, like, it's like kind of spoiler for U36. It was kind of like what Grazit was when he's like, yeah, I'm actually all of the NPCs you've ever talked to. And you're like, that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's a great fight too.
Are we ever going to get a search bar for the TR cache?
No.
No, I would say probably not.
Never.
I would say it's more likely we're going to see a complete rewrite of the TR cache system than we would add additional functionality to use it as storage.
Something stirs in the water. The creature collapses.
Would it be possible to cosmetic a rune arm? Why can't you cosmetic a rune arm? Do you know?
Yes. So rune arms are very complicated. They don't really exist. It's hard to explain. They're something else.
That's right, because they basically put effects on your character, right? Rather than
a lot of what a rune arm is visually, which is what you're looking for, is intrinsically tied to its functionality. And it would be very difficult because, you know, as you know, we have some problems sometimes with, in this most recent patch, especially with cosmetics still conveying bonuses. That's something that was something that was actually in the patch notes that we changed. And it would be I would say nigh impossible to separate and bulletproof the visual parts of a rune arm from its intended functionality. And yeah, furthermore, a lot of what a rune arm is intrinsically tied to your artificer levels, and it's just it's very close to the chest as far as effects goes. It's very core to what an artificer is, and be very difficult to pull that out. I'm getting 0 XP for this, by the way. This is fantastic. I would
imagine not.
this is fantastic.
Yep.
I got 195 guild renown, so I'm getting somewhere.
King Cosmo again. Can we finally get rid of copper and silver money and just have all plat? No. Why would you? Who cares? I'm sorry,
should,
King, but I totally disagree with you there.
What's the next? It's like Electrum is the last.
Yeah, that's right. Electrum.
Yeah. We should just introduce that. That would really. That would really. Oh man, I wish we could move this guy inside. Bone grinder. I hear this quest has less wolves in it.
That's what I hear too. It's still very wolfy though.
Very wolfy, yes.
Yeah. Hey, Linabelle and Jerry, greetings from Sangra de Dragon Guild over on YouTube. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. I really like this quest.
Yes. I like the new tech that we have where the players actually say their lines above their head. That's some super secret juju right there. It's used in Amber Temples. I believe Flimsy did both of them. When you like walk back up to the windmill and you're like, the pies are made of people, and they're like, yeah, we know. Like, what are you slow on the upkeep, you know? But like your player actually like says it like above their head, like the NPC text, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very fun. I think it's an additional level of immersion that I'm actually really happy we got to utilize.
Yeah, I agree.
Overall, I'm just really happy with Ravenloft.
Oh, I know. Ravenloft freaking rules. I'm totally biased, but man, Ravenloft freaking rules.
I don't know, I get the sneaking suspicion this is somehow your job. This is
But even if it wasn't my job, I've been a DDO player for a long time, and Ravenloft is just good.
Yeah. No, it's really nice. It's a shame my short sword broke everything. Like, oh god, that was just a big disappointment.
Yeah.
Steel Star was like, yeah, we're just gonna have to take that whole thing out, and I'm like, but all it does is turn backwards. I don't understand how this is gonna be a horrible problem. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the struggle behind that weapon, because I was like, all I wanted to do was make the text turn backwards. It's simple, right? Wrong, very complicated. And then like on Lamania, we're like, okay, we got into like a workable state. This is going pretty good. And then we had reports that it merged somehow with the Sunsword, which just isn't a thing I've ever once had an item do before. And like, yeah, if you drag them both at the same time, they just fuse into one weapon permanently. And I'm like, what? It's never once been a thing a weapon can do in any sense. And I'm like trying it myself on Lamani, like on like a normal client, and I'm like, I can't get this thing to do that. I don't know what's happening. It still's like, yep, that's just gonna have to not happen.
So if someone was wrong and mistaken about that, it's your fault, not Linabelle's, that we don't have a short sword.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No, I saw the screenshots. It absolutely, the dice. It's bad. It was really bad. We never figured out as far as we can tell, items can't just put together into one item. That's not a thing items know how to do. So players are like, yeah, the short sword merged. Here's a screenshot of it doing that, and we're like, that's suspicious. I'm suspicious about that. It's oh my god. Oh wow. Man. So that tech actually worked very well. It's the same tech that drives the magical flippy scythe that turns into different weapons depending on your hand, which was something I had a lot of fun working on. And the short sword was supposed to do something very similar, but instead of changing its weapon and its handiness, it was just supposed to turn all of its text backwards and become unreadable, because players wanted zany weapons, and we're just gonna give them zany weapons. That's what they wanted.
Let's be honest, we want zany weapons too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
well, I have a gigantic list that I'm just not going to get to execute on of really dumb item ideas that would be technically possible. Players would hate them. And because everybody hates everything that I've done in Ravenloft, so I'm just going to That'll show 'em.
Yeah, continue to make bad loot. No, your loot's fine. I like your loot.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's such a. I know I'm not the only designer that says this. So it's so true. Oh, I found Valentia. It's about time. It's so much about time. It's like we could make boring items, or we could spend all of our time making one super cool item, and we can't spend a year doing itemization for one update. We just can't. We have to do the entire game. We can't spend all that time on it, and it's a big shame because like players respond really well, and like they're fun to make. They're fun to make, and I don't know. It's the eternal struggle.
Nonetheless, I cannot spoil the new anniversary item. We are not going to spoil it on the
Oh,
live
there are
stream,
two.
but
There are
it
two
is
very good ones.
going to be very, very good.
Oh my gosh, I've been working with monk centering, and right now what I've got working is I'm trying to fix a bug where a specific item doesn't uncenter you properly, and right now I've gotten it in two states. One, which is where right now where it doesn't do that, or two, where if you put it on, you are permanently uncentered until you reincarnate. It just breaks your ability to be centered ever again. It sets your ability to become a monk false.
It blows your mind so much that it makes you rethink all of your monkedness.
Yeah, like and on one hand, you know, it's excellent monetization for lesser reincarnation. On the other hand, that's just a really bad idea. So, but oh my gosh. And as it turns out too, are we doing the super secret stealthy approach here? I think we are. Okay.
The super secret stealthy approach.
Oh, if we kill Morgantha last, should we get a chest?
Yeah.
Her daughters cut down before her. The hag Morgantha flees the wind.
There's a use or lose shrine up there.
Yep.
All of this
Oh man, I got Dredge Hunter. That's right. I got at least some XP.
burn it till nothing but cinders.
So the time frame for the anniversary, nothing to really announce, but it's going to be around the same time as usual. So it'll start late February, mid to late February, and go till kind of early to mid March.
Oh, if we're talking about the Sinister Hand Axe, yeah, that's a non-issue. I believe it's fixed internally, but hasn't been versioned correctly. I don't have it. I don't know, but we're definitely aware that that's a problem.
Yeah.
That was also my fault because the left-handed hand axe, it's a great idea, but it causes crippling server instability, or at least it did for a very brief period of time. So we're like, we've got some reports that players have several thousand stacks of what does left-handed mean, and I'm like, oh no, that's one of mine. It's like shoveling like a big pile of nonsense like under a rug there. But for the record, it wasn't even my idea. That was all Steelstar. It was in the original notes, so I'm blaming Steelstar for that one.
Suppressive fire from Ravenloft gear does not hard target an enemy. I am not quite sure what you mean by that, SPC.
Is that the
Dragon.
Blasty rune arm, or is that the cone rune arm? Because if it's the Blasty rune arm, fireballs aren't supposed to home. They home a little bit, but like they don't actually have the homing.
Yeah.
Just kind of like put it in the general direction. It's a very large explodey ball. It opens up those stupid doors though. It's like on my short list of things to touch. Is like some of our doors are destructible doors. Arrows just don't work with them. Oh no, you're dead.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't want that chest anyway.
I can come back in? Is there a shrine?
Yeah, it's called a thing I just got in Daily Dice.
No, I just re-entered. I'm coming to save you.
But I need these 100 flaming bolts.
Alright. I'm level 7, so I don't know about this. Oh, you were fine.
Yeah, I just use a Cerberus cake I got from Daily Dice.
I'm actually really digging this build. It's just like a pure fighter, single weapon fighting.
I
Bastard
love
swords.
this character too, even though it's completely useless.
Oh, the pew 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 build, that's a classic.
It is. Pew pew pew. Come on. All I need is I need to get my Lantern Archon. Then I'm set.
Yeah, well, that's bound to character on equip, so you could actually find that in the auction house if people haven't fed every single copy to their sentient weapon.
Oh, speaking of that, man, if Ravenloft did one thing, it cleared out a ton of people's inventory.
I got rid of an entire bank tune. I just like shook them down and then threw all the junk into my Sirith. It was actually very nice. It was very nice. It's excellent. I haven't really gotten a chance to experiment with the sentient system that well, because like I've just been in heroics too much ever since Ravenloft came out. I did actually get to play the Curse of Strahd though, and that was fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
I
absolutely
flagged
fantastic.
up my epic level character. I may actually be stepping foot in there tonight.
What about right now? You're like level 10. You're probably fine.
Oh yeah, totally.
Just
No,
yeah.
but I've got a character on Thelanis that's level 30 and now flagged for Curse of Strahd, so I'll be doing
Yeah,
that.
because you play in Galanis and everybody else plays in Argo and nobody plays in Galana with me. Yeah. Oh, did this change get? No, it didn't.
No. Not yet.
Not yet. Eventually. And if that goes wrong, I can blame Knockback. That's actually my new strategy, is just to blame everybody but myself. That's my answer.
Why is the Saga in Ravenloft set to level 10 when you can go in at 7? I don't know.
Because I believe you're just supposed to go in at 10. I believe we let you in early just for situations like this. But even if you're not talking to the person, the Saga NPCs know what your flagging and your completion state is. So you shouldn't be missing anything. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this for 0 XP.
Yeah, where's the... for some reason... Could someone share the quest with me?
Oh yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the things I do to appear in a live stream, get 0 XP.
Am I still planning to live stream the raid? I've actually changed my mind on that. The answer is yes, but not right away. Because the kin, or not kin, God, can you tell I'm mixing up my Lotra and DDO today? I'm getting ready to live stream like 47 hours of Lotra, that's what's going on. The guild I'm in on Thelanis, we want to just kind of poke around the raid, kind of slowpoke like, and explore things and just kind of work through our own methods and all that sort of thing. So I don't want to be put in a position of pressure where we're live on the air and then we just die and die and die. We're deliberately going to do that because we want to explore the raid rather than sort of just metagame our way through it by going to the forums and figuring out what everyone else has already done. So yes, but not right away.
To the person in Twitch chat that was like, a high-level shuriken would be nice. We made a very, very, very nice high-level shuriken. Level 29. It is made of glass. It's got a super cool model, and you hit people with it, and it shatters. And it's very, very, very good. Recommend you check it out. I believe it's called Spite. But still changed all the names of my super secret tech. Yeah.
Crexus Pendragon, will we make Constitution to hit and damage on the dwarf tree cost less in points than to match the others like Intelligence, Charisma, and Wisdom? Heck no. Sorry.
Madam Eva's words echo in your mind. Artifact. But will you know which is which?
This quest is just too good. It's suspicious.
Wells of organs, fraught with defiance, determination.
I think my first time through here, it was like 3 hours with like 6 people. We just kind of
To the dining.
looked in
Yeah.
everywhere.
For sure.
Did you know there's like rooms back here behind the Oh, did we not actually talk to Madame Eva?
I did not accidentally pick it. I'll figure it out. You don't need to give me a fortune.
Wow, I don't think we should have done that. That just doesn't seem correct. We're just gonna guess.
I don't think we're actually going to finish this quest on the live stream today anyway, because I have to go in about 10 minutes.
Well, that's just a big shame. Oh, I died in the live stream. I've lost a bet.
Oh, come on. Somebody was always curious about what would happen if you actually took her up on that offer. And now you know.
I didn't think it was I would have assumed Torque would have just had Madame Ava give us a snide comment and then, like, give you a fortune anyway. I didn't actually think it was a real option.
It is.
Well, it looks like we're all dead anyway. So
Yeah.
we should definitely maybe get the cards this time. Maybe a little bit. I'm pretty sure I'm still bound in Korthos, which is just super embarrassing. Oh my god.
I have no idea where I'm bound either.
It's actually terrible.
Yeah, let's
it's
find
actually
out.
terrible. So I'm gonna release. It's so I've
I'm in
been
the
in this.
desert.
I've been in this guild. I am in Korthos. I've been in this guild for like 3 years now, and like I'm an officer and a recruit for it, and I have no idea where our spirit binder is in the ship, and I just can't ask anybody. Like I've never once found it, and I've been like idly looking, and I'm like I don't even know what I'm looking for. Everyone's like, oh, just bind on the ship, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just do that. I'll just bind on the ship, whatever,
You are doing the Cordovan school of gameplay in there.
You're like, what am I supposed to
Yeah.
do? Like, how would I even like have that conversation? Be like, hey, person I recruited to the guild, hypothetically, do you know where anything is? just if you could just
This is a test, new member. Let's see if you can find it.
If you
I
can
will
find
follow along to see if you do.
Somebody told me when I joined years ago that all the usable amenities were on level 1. So I've been saying that, and no one's ever corrected me, so I'm pretty sure it's on the first level, but I don't know.
Any news on getting the DDO store healing pots fixed where they can be used while being hit by mobs? They work the same as regular potions, don't they?
Yep, they're just regular potions, and you can, I believe, be interrupted of most actions. I think using usage potion.
Will Rogue ever get a passive search like elves in the future? That would be nice. That would make a lot of sense. Macubre Alien wants to know when the next all cosmetic sale will be, not just outfits. Oh, and why just outfits? I thought we did have all cosmetics on sale as of yesterday. So I will actually check with our store person to see, one, if it's intended that we don't have everything on sale, and if that is not intended, I'll get that fixed.
So the problem conceptually with a bag for wand scrolls and potions is that people can't use them while they're in them.
I think we're going to do it, though. I made no promises. No promises. It may not happen.
But
Tolero and I were talking before the holiday break about how maybe we can't do potions, maybe we can't do wands, but we should just do a scroll case, like a scroll bag. And yes, that means you're going to have to open up the bag and drag the stuff into your inventory in order to use it. But I kind of think people would they'd be okay with that, for scrolls in particular, I think. And if that's indeed true, and they purchase these things in the DDO store, then that'll be our proof.
I don't know, man. Making things people want to buy I don't know about that. No, my short list for things I've always wanted in DDO, and I know this is just never gonna happen, is a pair of roller skates. I just really think there's a lot of monetization options, and that players really wanted roller skates, and I want roller skates. And I keep bugging one of our FX people, the same guy that did the crown, actually, the Reaper, the Remnant's crown. I'm like, obviously rocket skates would be a big selling point. We could put them all over promotional material. Do the DDO.
I was just going to say, this is all about getting rocket skates for your Warforged, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Warforged would have them built in. Warforged would just they would by default be able to use rocket skates, and everybody else would have to like get the proficiency somehow. And I just think it'd be a fantastic idea. I think it's right up there with. I've been thinking we should just, instead of mounts, why not just bring in like cars I feel like that would fit a little, that would mesh a little bit well with the, the Forgotten Realms universe.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there'd be no complaints at all if we brought cars into DDO.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I just think, like cars and then car racing, obviously. Just keep, bringing in additional features. And I really feel like, anyway, so can we announce our partnership with Mario Kart or like? Oh my God, I'm like
DDO kart racing. Oh, that would be amazing.
DDO Kart. Oh my God, that reminds me of in the QA, in the internal QA wiki, this is like testing stuff. There's a picture that I drew in Microsoft Paint for it was like my plans for the Mimic Festival or whatever, and it's an angry house. It's like a house with like arms and legs and like an angry face. And I opened up the QA wiki like 2 days ago, and it was just like that picture of the house right there, and I like couldn't stop laughing. It was awesome. All right, I'm actually finding my bottle of mist, which is why I'm not there.
No, we're actually not going to run an invitation to dinner. I'm sorry for just kind of dragging you along here, but we have to wrap up the show in about 5 minutes. So we'll just putz around the wilderness and kill a few things.
Well, I'm going to do the excellent, lovely, riveting action of look through my TR cache, which is just a crowd favorite. That's.
When is the Mimic Hunter coming back? It's going to be a little while because we have to deal with an exploit that came up during the last Mimic Hunt before we can bring it back again. Sorry.
Oh man. The Strahd conversation in Amber Temple with his bride is longer than Elminster. If you're a big fan of really long and unnecessary dialogues, I would highly recommend you talk to my anniversary NPC. I'm using some excellent tech, and we're up to, I think, 145 different distinct dialogue interactions.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
It's fantastic.
Don't spoil it.
It's okay. I won't spoil. It's.
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
Make them talk to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, it's I wish I like, because a whole bunch of things I'm working on are like super secret plans that I can't talk about, and everything else is like fix all of my mistakes, which is also not great, and I don't want to bring attention to the fact that I make a lot of them.
+6 tomes are still not converted to purified shards. I have one that's bound to account, and all of my characters have purchased +6 supremes. That actually makes some sense that we would maybe at this point add +6s to the Caneth crafting interface.
That makes sense. I can understand why they weren't in there originally.
Mm-hmm.
But after our tome changes, it would make sense that they would go in there.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy with the tome changes of this most recent patch that added them to a few legendary raids, depending on difficulty. I think that'll really help. That'll really excite players to get into them more.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I actually enjoy riding the storm out. Don't tell anybody. But no, I actually really like it. So it'd be good to encourage more people to play it.
Yeah, riding the storm out's good. It's just got some pretty high hit point mobs, and it's not, at least in my experience, not very kind of small group friendly.
You can turn that undead. That's the one thing that I keep hearing, is that worst case running a cleric. But no, there's actually I think 1 or 2 items I'm still looking for in there. Although I don't ever really tend to find myself at the level cap. I'm still trying to get some past lives in.
What is the chance of an Endless Thieves Tool special item? Definitely we don't have any plans for it, but I would say conceptually it seems like it might be possible, right? Because you could basically have a Thieves Tool that would destroy and then recreate every time, right?
So I think how Thieves Tools currently work, and this is probably just incorrect, is that it's the same tech that basically Sir Roheen, the guy that doesn't let anything, is borrowing some of that functionality to look through a player's inventory and just take one in order, and this would just take, it would be like every single time you had to interact with a trap box, it was like, okay, let's take a thing, but first let's find out if you have that item, and if so, we're not going to do anything. So
yeah, so I do think it theoretically would be possible. It would probably not be the easiest thing to make, and we definitely have no like plans for it, so no promises. But it seems like conceptually something that could happen someday.
Yeah, I have some really bad ideas. Just some really terrible bad ideas for itemization. Steel Star said no to all of.
I've got really great ideas for content.
I keep pitching a slide dungeon, and I know it's gonna happen eventually. Like a big slide. Like you start at the top, and you have to get down to the bottom, and it's a slide in the middle. I think it'd be great. Failing that, I think a cooking show would really just... like, imagine, if you will, hypothetically, there's like a timer counting down, and then you had to you're like, you know, like you use a pan to like, you know, cook eggs or something, and then while you're cooking eggs, someone else is like, you're burning your toast, so a different party member has to like get the toast out of the toaster, and like, you know, and there's like a million different items and a million different induction bars and a million different things you can touch, and at the end you put it all together and you get judged by like judges, you know, and then like whatever, and if you perform well enough.
I love it.
And what I keep wanting, like, what I want to do is, like, you would sow the seeds for that really early in advance. Like, in, like, an unrelated quest, you'd have a super rare drop of, like, chef's hat, always succeeds in omelet flipping. And you're like, what? That's never once been relevant. And we just keep sprinkling these items in where it's, like, solid gold-plated spatula, you know, your prepared meals of +5 to presentation. And you're like, what does that even mean? And then bringing it all together, you know, it would be like a big cooking show, and that would be like the climax of DDO. Is it's all leading up to this. It's all leading up to the cooking show.
That is such a fantastic idea. We probably shouldn't have said it on the live stream.
You heard it here first. Okay, so I believe we had Gorgon Ramsay was one of the judges. It's a Gorgon with like a chef's hat just like on top of the snakes. And we came up with some really terrible puns. Because I believe after a certain period of time, everybody just goes insane working on this game. Like you just lose your sanity and that's it. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
We've got time for like one more thing.
Sure, one more, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, so I'm playing. This is me and Cook Majobo and Cookie Kobold and Nobob and Steelstar, and we're at lunch and we're playing Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which is the D&D themed Betrayal on House of the Hill game. So in this game you roll randomly for like the hunt that happens, and like you get a traitor and you have to escape or complete some arbitrary task, and then you win the game, so it's different every single time. So we roll randomly, and out of 65 options end up with Ravenloft and go directly to Barovia, and Strahd kills us all and we lose. And like he's like reading the things, it's like, and a castle rises above you in like the darkness of the thing, and we're like, yeah, it's like we can picture it in our heads, like we're there, you know. I really just got a strong visual key here. And like out of all of the options, we ended up with Ravenloft. Like what? And then turns out Nobob was a vampire and he killed us all. So then
Nice.
we all died. The end.
Last question, Rodrigom88. When is the date of the next update? We don't have anything to announce at this time, but you can expect it to be probably around the anniversary time frame. Maybe not. I don't know if that's going to be 38 though, but we'll have some kind of game update.
Yeah.
Certainly around that time. So, all right, thank you very much for watching Friday afternoon. I'll be back on Wednesdays from now on at noon for the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream. Now, you're heading back to college here pretty soon, right?
Oh yeah. I keep leaving. It's my super secret tactic called leave. It's great. It's working out great so far.
Well, wait till we chain you to the desk, then it'll be okay.
That would be terrible. There are laws against that. That's kidnapping, actually.
Yeah, they're more guidelines.
No, there are laws specifically. We've had this conversation. No more rights.
All right, yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for joining me, Lunabelle. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye forever.
See ya.